What's up, guys? It's a beautiful Saturday down here in the Carolinas, early May, and we are stuck in the shop as usual. Got the little back TV going, watching the IHRA race, the finals today at Hebron, Ohio, the old National Trail. Of course, we're not there. We're just here working. Just trying to get caught up. Might as well do something. Just showing what I'm doing today. Got a little motor for a customer I'm putting together. One of my favorite small block Chevy combinations for both circle track, drag, and street. This here is a production 400 Chevy block. Your 511 block, which means it's your 4-bolt main version, which some frown upon because due to the bigger diameter of the main journals, the housing bores are cut out a lot larger and takes away a lot of the material to put the 4-bolt caps on. Some guys prefer the 2-bolt caps. I've used them both. You know, it's a production block and they bust no matter what. There's only so much you could do with a factory 400 block. But we've done a lot of them and had good luck with them through the years, but you just got to know, when you get up that 700 horse range, it is a time bomb with a stock block, especially when you're putting a stroker crank in it. This here is one of my favorite combinations. This is a D-stroker, and done lots of these. This is your 377. This is your 400 block with your 350 crank in it. Now, obviously, this is a scat crank. It's not a 350 crank, but it's still a 350 stroke, 3-inch 480 stroke. And this is just your run-of-the-mill Scat 9000 cast steel crank that we balanced up. And sometimes you have a little trouble balancing up these cast cranks if your bob weights, your target bob weights on the heavy side, which it is for this combination. What I like to do with these is use a 6 1/8 inch rod. These are getting Ultimate Duty Oliver I-beams, and instead of Weisico, tooth Alverley flat tops. And right now I'm just getting ready to cut the rings. I'm going to pound this short block together today. It's been a motor that's been here for a little while. It's a cool little project. It's actually going in a little street strip car of a Ford Model A. And I'll have to take a video of the car when they get the motor in. It's a cool little deal. Belongs to a buddy of mine, Uncle Mike. And been playing with it for a little while for him. I've been promising to him, so I'm going to try to at least get the short block together. And this is going to be a version, we're going to put a roller cam in it. And but we want it to look period correct. So we're going to do some iron heads. And I'm not sure what he's going to do with the induction yet. If it's going to be a low-rise 2.4 or something nostalgic to go with the 29 Model A 60s street gasser look, but definitely have some pep in its step. But the 400 blocks, which are inherently weak, especially when you build strokers out of them. Factory, they come with the 3750, which makes the 400, the 4 1/8 bore with a 3.750 stroke. Again, this is a D-stroke, and the factory blocks I found live a hell of a lot longer with the D-stroke crank in it, 'cause it just doesn't put that much stress on the cylinder wall by having that short arm in there. But and they're screamers too. They make a bunch of power with the right head and cam. I think it's one of the best little budget small blocks you can build. One thing I want to touch base on the deck of the block, if you'll notice, there's a hole missing here compared to the late model blocks. And if we look at the head gasket, like here's a later model Cometic head gasket. See that hole there? Let's lay it up there so you can see it. See where that hole's not in the block? It's really important to put that hole in there. And early on, I guess the Chevrolet engineers kind of missed that. And what that does, the small block Chevy has a Siamese exhaust port. The exhaust ports on a small block Chevy, Siamese meaning they're right next to each other. So they put a ton of heat coming out of those ports. And they're really, especially on a blown application, tough to tune because you get so much more heat on the EGTs, on those Siamese exhaust ports. And I've seen many a small blocks blow up, fail, rods come out the bottom, people can't figure out why. And I've attributed a lot of them from not having that hole. And you say, well, what does that hole have to do with throwing rods out and stuff? Well, let me tell you, those exhaust guides, the valve guides on those Siamese ports get so much hotter than all the other guides. I've seen valve guides gall, piston come up, whack the valve, snap the head of the valve off, get down there in the cylinder, push it up through the chamber. You're bending rods, you're busting pistons, you're breaking rods when that happens. And that is a very common occurrence, especially in an endurance motor, like a round track motor, like a dirt circle track, asphalt circle track, where, you know, the duration is a lot longer than a little squirt motor, like a drag motor, which is just blasting down the quarter mile and then maybe sitting up and cooling for a little bit. So that's tough, but definitely need that hole. If you look at any of your later model small blocks, like this is sitting here on the ground, it's a one-piece seal, like a late 80s motor, and you'll notice the factory got wise and put that hole in. And I don't think the GM factory started putting that hole in to promote cooling until the later 80s. Obviously, like we said, it's a 400 block, and the last of the 400s rolled off the assembly line in the late 70s. I think they came out in, what, 70... Did they come out in 71, 72, 72? Lasted till 78? Somewhere, don't quote me on that, but somewhere in that range. Early 70s or late 70s was the lifespan of the GM 400 block. And they did not have that cooling hole. So we're going to flip it over. And I just use my head gasket. I use an old head gasket as a template. I'll just put it up on there. And I should have did this early on, and it slipped my mind. Normally, I would do that, you know, during the machine work process, not now that it's going together. But we'll just put some masking tape up on everything and use our gasket and pop that hole in there on both sides of the deck, both the right and the left side. Really important to get that hole in there to promote cooling, especially on the 400, because the 400 already has, you know, cooling issues with the big bores. And the 400 is the only factory small block that has Siamese cylinders, meaning that these cylinders in the center, they're adjoined. There's no coolant flow between the cylinders on a 400, hence what they call the steam holes. That is something that some people drill the steam holes in the head, some people don't. I've done them both ways, and I haven't found any extra benefit to having them. So lately, I haven't been putting the steam holes in, probably in the last 20 years. But again, these are Siamese cylinders, meaning they're adjoined here. And they have to be because it's so thin, because it's a 4 1/8 bore. You know, we're starting to get thin where the head gasket is. And this block's 30 over, so this is a 4-inch 155 bore now. But we're going to pop that hole in there, and we're going to grind some rings on my trusty little ring grinder here. And again, it's a street motor, and everybody has their preference on end gaps. The tighter the end gap, the better you're going to seal the cylinders, but you just got to be careful your application. If it's going to, you know, if it's a non-power adder, no nitrous, good cooling system, we'll put the rings a little tighter. I like the rings on an NA motor around the 16 range. I'll do the top and the second at 16. Circle track motors, we're trying to get everything out. Especially, you got to make sure they're done with a torque plate. If you're not honing with a torque plate, then you really don't know where you are when you set your rings in there to check your end gap. So you don't want to get too tight. But on the circle track motors, we'll go as tight as 12 thousandths on some of the killer circle track motors. Drag motors, nitrous motors, blower motors, and they might be as wide as 35. Just depends on the application. But this one's getting the top and the second at 16. It's going to be a gasoline driver with a good radiator, and we're going to have our extra coolant hole. So that's what we're playing with today. I'm going to pop this little 377 together, and we're going to watch a little racing on TV. Is about all we can do. And after that, I'm going to go ahead and play with that mill and run some. I went to Lowe's and got some wire. I got to run wired to my big phase converter to get that up and running. I want to get that fired up today, and we actually have a job for it. I got to do some fire rings on it, and I don't want to do them on the manual Bridgeport, and I don't want to struggle on the Mazak. Like I said, we got another machining center back here, but that's more dedicated for manufacturing. It's a little tough to get a block in there, so I'll pop this together. Oh yeah, and tonight, if it doesn't rain, we're headed back down the Lakeview Motor Speedway to the dirt track. I hear I might have about 4 customers running tonight, so me and old Ryan Gilbert might jump in the truck and run down there and do some commentary. Other than that, the Hemi's on hold, so I get caught up here a little bit. Plus, I'm waiting on some connecting rods again. The connecting rods we have, my compression ratio is just coming a little too high. Now that we had to go to that 4-inch stroke crank with my bushed rods that we did, if you remember the rods we put the bushings in, and that's the rod I got in here now. I mocked it up to see where the deck height was, and we're coming 50 thousandths out of the hole, and with the head gasket, we're computing compression ratio at about 15-to-1. That's a little too high. So we're going to drop the rod down another 100 thou, get the compression ratio more manageable to about 11-to-1, and go from there. And tomorrow I'm going to pop that rear end back in the vet funny car chassis and hopefully get that over to my brother. Oh yeah, and yesterday the seat came back from Taylor Motorsports. Remember this? Remember we sent it off to get the fireproof seat cover made? They did a hell of a job on that. So we got that in. This came out really nice. And that's a requisite. You got to have a fireproof seat cover in the funny car. So we got that. And also they added the points. NHRA and IHRA mandated a 7-point harness. So they added the rest of the legs I needed on the seat belts. And they recertified my belt. So we're good till 2028. So a little closer, I guess. Hard when you're one-man army here. Well, 1.5 man. Brother's been a little slacking lately. I'm going to go over there and get on him a little more. It's getting warm out, and he's, I guess, wanting to play with his boat and his motorcycle, but we can't get off the beaten path too much. We gotta stay on this. We gotta get there. It's almost mid-season. I'd like to be putting the motor in the car in a couple weeks, but we'll see. Right now, I'm going to cut these rings on this 377, get her knocked out, and maybe I'll check in with you guys later from Lakeview. All right, guys. Watch the race. It's a good one. We'll talk to you later.